You know that feeling when you promise yourself just one more run, and somehow it's way past midnight? That's the magic of a good roguelike. They pull you in with quick little adventures, and before you know it, hours have disappeared. The Nintendo Switch is full of games like that. Some cozy and thoughtful, some pure chaos, but all endlessly replayable. So let's settle in, talk about a few of the ones that keep pulling us back for just one more try, and maybe help you find your next late night obsession. First up is Loop Hero, and this one completely flips the roguelike formula. Instead of controlling your hero directly, they just keep walking in a loop, fighting, collecting loot, and surviving on autopilot. Your job is to lay down tiles that shape their journey. Forests that boost attack speed, mountains that add health, or vampire mansions that make things risky but rewarding. It's almost like being a dungeon master for your own character, balancing challenge with survival. Between loops, you expand your camp, unlock new cards, and slowly unravel this mysterious post-apocalyptic story. It's part puzzle, part strategy, part chill watch party, and it's shockingly addictive. The first time you realize you accidentally created an enemy ecosystem that's too powerful, brutal, but also kind of hilarious. Then there's Risk of Rain 2, which takes the tight 2D chaos of the original and explodes it into full 3D madness. You drop onto an alien planet and immediately start hunting for chests, unlocking items, and dodging swarms of enemies. The twist? The longer you survive, the harder everything gets. The difficulty bar literally climbs as you play. That pressure creates this frantic rhythm where every second counts. One run, you might stack jetpacks and rockets, flying across the map like a superhero, while another, you might go all in on drones and let your robot army do the dirty work. It's absolutely wild in co-op too. Nothing beats laughing with friends as a simple run spirals into a giant battlefield of lasers, bosses, and chaos. If you love scaling power and tension in equal measure, this is pure adrenaline. Downwell might look simple, but don't let its minimalist black and white graphics fool you. This game is brilliant. The premise? You're falling down a seemingly endless well, blasting enemies below you with your trusty gun boots. Yep, gun boots. Each shot slows your fall and lets you chain combos, and every floor offers branching upgrades. Maybe you fire rockets downward, maybe enemies drop health, maybe you gamble on risky glass cannon builds. It's fast, it's brutal, and it has that arcade vibe where each death makes you hit restart before you even think. Runs are short, but that's the danger. You'll mean to play for 5 minutes and end up on your 10th run an hour later. Plus, knowing it was mostly made by one developer just makes the design even more impressive. Next is Vampire Survivors, the little indie that completely took over everyone's free time. The genius is its simplicity. You don't aim, you don't mash buttons, you just move. Weapons fire on their own, and your only job is to weave through waves of monsters, grab experience gems, and evolve your arsenal into screen-destroying insanity. At first, it's slow and almost meditative, but about 10 minutes in, it becomes pure chaos. Thousands of enemies flood the screen while you're firing spinning whips, holy water, meteors, and whatever weird combination you built. Discovering evolutions, like combining a base weapon with the right passive to unlock its ultimate form, feels incredible. It's easy to start, hard to stop, and perfect for quick runs that somehow stretch way past bedtime. Moonlighter is for anyone who's ever wanted to run a cozy little shop and go monster hunting. By night, you're exploring procedurally generated dungeons, dodging enemies, smashing pots, and snagging loot. By day, you open your store, set prices, watch customers react, and slowly upgrade your shop in town. It's this addictive push and pull. Risk deeper dungeons for rare items, but risk losing everything if you die. The combat is straightforward but satisfying, with a mix of melee and ranged weapons you can upgrade. And there's a quiet joy to returning home after a tough run, counting your gold and putting shiny artifacts on the shelf. It's cozy capitalism with a dash of danger. Then there's Slay the Spire, the modern king of deck-building roguelikes. You climb a mysterious spire one floor at a time, fighting monsters and elites while carefully crafting a card deck. Every card choice matters. Do you build a poison-focused assassin, a block-heavy tank, or gamble on rare combos that might break the game if they come together? Then you've got relics, strange items that add wild twists, like doubling your first card each turn or making you stronger when you play curses. No two runs ever feel the same, and every victory feels earned through clever strategy. It's a thinker's roguelike, but still full of big dramatic moments where one perfect draw turns a losing fight into a huge win. Next up is Balatro, a roguelike that takes the calm logic of poker and turns it into a wild, unpredictable deck builder. At first, it seems simple. Build poker hands, score points, survive to the next blind. But then you start unlocking jokers and the game goes full chaos. Some jokers double the value of flushes, some make twos explode for extra chips, some turn garbage hands into powerhouses. Suddenly, every hand is a puzzle. Do you burn a card to chase a full house or stick with a sure bet to stay alive one more round? The art and music are stylish and chill, but under the hood, it's a clever, high-stakes puzzle machine. Even if you don't know much about poker, the game teaches you just enough to start breaking the rules in fun ways. And once the synergies click, it's impossible to stop. Dreamscaper mixes heartfelt storytelling with sharp roguelike action in a way few games try. By day, you're Cassie, wandering a small town, meeting people, and building relationships that unlock passive bonuses. By night, you fall asleep and dive into surreal dreamscapes, battling twisted monsters with swords, bows, yo-yos, yes, yo-yos, and magic powers tied to your emotions. Combat is smooth and weighty, somewhere between Hades and a 3D brawler, and each new weapon or skill you craft changes your playstyle. What makes it special is how the story quietly unfolds as you grow stronger, facing themes of anxiety and self-discovery without slowing down the action. It's perfect for players who like their roguelikes with some heart and meaning behind the grind. And then we have the classic Rogue Legacy, which basically pioneered the idea of death leading to family legacy. Every time you die, your heir takes over, and each heir has quirks. One might be colorblind, one might be super tiny and slip into secret spots, one might have vertigo so the whole map flips upside down. These traits make every run feel fresh and a little bit hilarious. You'll slash through a massive shifting castle full of traps and treasure, hoarding gold to upgrade your family's manor between runs. Those upgrades stick. Better weapons, new classes, stronger defenses, so you're always making progress even when you fail. It's tough but fair, and the random traits keep things lighthearted even when the castle is trying to kill you. Let's get weird with The Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus, one of the most iconic roguelikes ever made. It's dark, twisted, and full of secrets. You play as Isaac, a scared little kid fighting through grotesque dungeons in a story that's equal parts sad and disturbing. But the magic here is in the items. There are hundreds of them, and every run is a slot machine of bizarre upgrades. One run, you're firing homing tiers that split into more tiers. The next, you're a giant laser-shooting monstrosity with floating orbitals and exploding bombs. It's hard, it's sometimes gross, but discovering insane synergies and unlocking new endings is unbelievably satisfying. If you love mystery and experimentation, this is a rabbit hole that can eat months of your gaming life. Enter the Gungeon is pure style and bullet hell brilliance. You descend into a massive, procedurally generated Gungeon, to find a gun that can kill the past. Every room is packed with enemies, projectiles, and clever traps. It's as much about dodging and rolling as it is shooting. The guns themselves are ridiculous and hilarious. A bee gun that fires swarms, a mailbox that shoots letters, a gun that fires other guns. Learning enemy patterns and mastering the dodge roll feels old school and incredibly satisfying. Co-op adds even more chaos if you've got a friend. It's tough, but every victory and every absurd new weapon feels like a hard-earned prize. Shogun Showdown slows the pace down but keeps the stakes high with tactical turn-based combat. Every move matters. You step, enemies react, and your attacks have distinct patterns you need to line up perfectly. As you progress, you unlock new combos and abilities that dramatically shift how you play, so each run forces you to rethink your approach. The minimalist pixel art is moody and sharp, fitting the samurai theme perfectly, and the music drives the tension without overwhelming you. It's a thoughtful, chess-like roguelike where one wrong move can ruin a run, but getting it right feels incredible. Perfect for players who love planning 3 moves ahead. Spelunky 2 takes everything the first game did and makes it bigger, wilder, and even more unpredictable. You're exploring a deadly cave system full of traps, treasures, and secrets. But this time, there's a whole new world above and below. Lava flows, water physics, rideable turkeys, branching paths to hidden biomes. Every run feels like an adventure where you never know what's waiting. Death comes fast and often, but each failure teaches you clever tricks, how to anger or avoid shopkeepers, when to use bombs, how to chain movement to survive the chaos. It's punishing but fair, and the thrill of finally making it deeper is unmatched. It's the kind of game where you'll have wild stories to tell after every session. Dicey Dungeons is bright, clever, and way deeper than it looks at first glance. You're literally a giant dice trying to fight your way through a bizarre game show dungeon. Each class, thief, robot, witch, inventor, has its own mechanics, so runs feel fresh every time. The hook is how you use your dice rolls to power different abilities. Maybe you need evens for a big attack. Maybe you save a 6 for a special move. Maybe you split dice into smaller numbers to trigger combos. It's all turn-based but snappy, with a cheerful art style and ridiculously catchy music that keeps it light even when the fights get tricky. It's easy to pick up but has enough depth to hook you for dozens of runs. Then there's Have a Nice Death, which might be the most stylish action roguelike on the Switch. You play as Death himself, exhausted CEO of the afterlife, whose unruly underlings have gone rogue. To restore order, you grab your scythe and slash through beautifully hand-drawn, procedurally generated departments of the underworld. The combat is buttery smooth and fast, with tons of weapons and spells to experiment with. It's got a darkly funny tone, poking at workplace burnout. Even death isn't safe, but it never gets too heavy. The animation is stunning. The boss fights are challenging, but fair, and every run makes you want to jump back in for just one more reaping. Astral Ascent feels like an indie dream brought to life. Fast action, deep builds, and a gorgeous, magical world. You pick from a cast of beautifully animated heroes, each with unique abilities, and battle through mystical realms tied to the Zodiac. The big hook is your spell system. Every run, you collect and upgrade abilities to chain into slick, flashy combos. Dashes, projectiles, screen-filling bursts of magic. The controls feel crisp and responsive, so fights are challenging but fair. It's also one of the prettier roguelikes out there, with painterly backdrops and a moody, ethereal soundtrack. If you like skill-based combat with a side of lore and exploration, this one's a gem.
My magic is yours. Enemy target across.
Shotgun King the final checkmate is chess, but if the Black King got fed up and grabbed a shotgun. It's turn-based like chess, but you move your king and shoot at white pieces. Each map is a little puzzle. Position yourself to blast enemies, but also stay out of check. As you progress, the enemy side gains new units or abilities. Bishops might shoot lasers, pawns might promote faster, while you pick upgrades to make your shotgun deadlier. It's absurd, darkly funny, and way more strategic than it looks. Even if you've never been great at chess, there's something ridiculously satisfying about blowing up a smug queen with a well-placed shot. And of course, Dead Cells, one of the smoothest and most celebrated action roguelikes ever made. You're a mysterious blob inhabiting corpses, sprinting and slashing through gorgeous, ever-changing castle corridors. Combat is lightning fast and feels incredible. Dodge rolls, mid-air slashes, bows, whips, grenades, and a ton of unique weapons that can totally change how a run plays out. Blueprints let you unlock and upgrade gear between runs, so you're always making progress even when you die. The game's DLC keeps it fresh with new biomes and weapons, and the Castlevania crossover is pure love letter to old school fans. It's tough but fair, and when everything clicks, dodges, crits, explosive combos, it's pure action bliss. Little Noah, Scion of Paradise is a lighthearted action roguelike that's surprisingly clever under its cute surface. You play as Noah, a young alchemist exploring floating ruins for treasure and secrets. The hook is how you build your attacks using Lilliputs, little creatures you collect and slot into your combo chain. Each one adds a move or effect, maybe a quick slash, a fiery punch, or a spinning strike. Over time, you craft your own custom attack string that feels super satisfying to pull off. The art style is colorful and welcoming. The runs are beginner-friendly but still challenging enough to keep you engaged. And it's got that "I'll just tweak my build one more time" pull that's hard to resist. Then we have Shiren the Wanderer, a classic roguelike dungeon crawler that sticks to its hardcore roots. Everything is grid-based and turn-based. You take a step, enemies take a step. Simple on the surface, but it creates tense, strategic encounters where every move matters. The dungeons are full of traps, status effects, and tricky enemies. And when you die, you lose your gear, which makes survival a real high-stakes puzzle. It's tough, but fair once you learn to respect it. Fans of old school roguelikes will love its depth, and newcomers looking for a challenge will find it surprisingly rewarding when patience pays off. ScourgeBringer is the definition of high-speed action. You dash, slash, and juggle enemies mid-air with breakneck agility, zipping from room to room like a hypermobile ninja. There's no shield and no hiding. The game rewards aggressive play, and once you get into the flow, it feels incredible. Boss fights test your reflexes and precision, and every run lets you unlock permanent upgrades to push a little further next time. The art is slick, the soundtrack absolutely shreds, and it's just pure kinetic joy for anyone who loves action-heavy roguelikes. World of Horror is a love letter to retro PC horror and the unsettling art of Junji Ito. It's a roguelike mystery adventure where you investigate eerie happenings in a cursed seaside town as ancient gods stir. Each run gives you a set of bizarre cases to solve, from ghostly disappearances to body horror cults, while you manage stats like stamina and reason to stay alive and sane. Combat is turn-based but risky, with choices that can save you or doom you if you're careless. The 1-bit black and white art style is haunting and minimal, making every screen feel like an old horror comic. It's creepy, slow burning, and perfect for anyone who loves roguelikes with story and dread instead of just action. Invisible Inc. takes the roguelike formula into stealthy, cyberpunk espionage. You control a team of elite spies infiltrating procedurally generated corporate facilities. Each turn, you have to hack cameras, disable guards, loot valuable intel, and escape before security levels spiral out of control. Every agent has unique skills and gadgets, from cloaks to tasers to hacking rigs, so building your squad feels strategic and tense. Missions are short but nerve-wracking. One mistake can unravel your whole plan. It's stylish, smart, and perfect if you love slow, thoughtful tension with a splash of high-tech cool. And now for something silly and frantic. Brotato. You're literally a potato armed with up to 6 weapons, fighting endless swarms of aliens. Each wave is quick, chaotic, and full of loot to pick up mid-battle. Between rounds, you shop for upgrades, weapons, and crazy synergies. Maybe you dual-wield shotguns and miniguns. Maybe you go full elemental damage and set the screen on fire. The runs are short, but wildly replayable, and it's perfect for squeezing in a quick gaming fix. Don't let the goofy art fool you, there's plenty of build depth for tinkerers. 20XX is a love letter to Mega Man, but with roguelike spice and modern co-op fun. You run, jump, and blast through procedurally generated stages filled with tricky platforming, enemies, and bosses that feel straight out of a Saturday morning cartoon. Each run lets you collect upgrades and weapons that totally change your playstyle. Maybe you stack damage boost and become a glass cannon, or load up on mobility for insane double jumps and air dashes. You can play solo or team up with a friend for chaotic two-player action, and every stage is different enough to keep you guessing. It's fast, colorful, and perfect for anyone craving classic platforming with infinite replay value. Then there's the grim and beautiful Darkest Dungeon, a roguelike RPG that's as much about mental survival as it is about fighting monsters. You lead a party of flawed heroes into gothic, plague-ridden dungeons, battling horrific creatures and keeping an eye on their stress levels. Too much stress and they'll panic, develop quirks, or even go insane mid-run. The turn-based combat is deliberate and tactical, with positioning and timing that can make or break your party. And the art? Gorgeous and haunting, with heavy narration that feels straight out of a Lovecraftian nightmare. It's punishing but fair. Every victory feels earned, and every defeat leaves scars that make your next attempt smarter. On the completely opposite end of the mood scale, Cadence of Hyrule is pure joy. It mashes up Crypt of the NecroDancer's rhythm-based movement with the world of The Legend of Zelda. You move, attack, and dodge to the beat of incredible remixed Zelda tunes. Seriously, the soundtrack alone is worth it. You can play as Link, Zelda, or Cadence, exploring randomly generated dungeons and unlocking classic weapons with a rhythmic twist. It's challenging but cheerful, and nailing a perfect beat-driven fight just feels amazing. If you love music games or Zelda nostalgia, this is an absolute treat. Into the Breach may look tiny, but it's one of the smartest strategy roguelikes ever made. You command a squad of mechs trying to protect cities from massive alien bugs. Each map is a compact grid where you can see every enemy move before it happens. The real game is figuring out how to stop it. Push an enemy into water to kill it, shove another into a teammate's attack path, or block a spawn point at the cost of your mech's health. Every decision matters, because if a building goes down, so does your timeline. When you lose, you can send one pilot back to start fresh, creating this brilliant loop of learning and adapting. It's tense, brainy, and incredibly satisfying when you pull off a perfect save. Then we've got the glorious chaos that is Streets of Rogue. Imagine if Deus Ex and a Saturday morning cartoon had a baby. Each run drops you into procedurally generated city districts with a mission, but how you complete it is totally up to you. Sneak through vents as a hacker, go full Rambo as a soldier, bribe your way past guards as a bartender, or play as a vampire and quietly drain folks in alleys. The possibilities are ridiculous and hilarious, and the game just rolls with whatever plan or disaster you create. Throw in 4-player co-op and it becomes pure mayhem, with friends accidentally blowing up your stealth mission or triggering all-out war. It's messy, unpredictable, and so much fun. And of course, there's Hades, the roguelike that turned a whole lot of people into roguelike fans. You play as Zagreus, son of Hades, fighting your way out of the underworld with weapons that feel buttery smooth. Swords, bows, fists, shields, and more. The Greek gods offer boons each run, stacking into crazy builds. Maybe you're a lightning-fast crit machine with Zeus's help, or a fire-spewing tank thanks to Ares. But what sets it apart is the storytelling. Even when you die, and you will, characters react, relationships deepen, and the narrative unfolds piece by piece. It's stylish, heartfelt, and ridiculously polished, with music and voice acting that make every run feel like part of a grand story. Few games make losing feel this good. Bad North is a minimalist real-time tactics roguelike that hides a lot of strategy under its calm, pastel surface. You control a handful of Viking commanders defending tiny, procedurally generated islands from incoming longboats of enemies. Each island is a little puzzle. Where do you place your units? How do you use cliffs, choke points, and houses to your advantage? Combat plays out in real time, but it's slow and deliberate. You're repositioning squads, pulling back injured troops, and setting ambushes as waves of raiders hit. When a commander dies, they're gone forever, so every decision carries weight. It's both relaxing to look at and surprisingly tense once the boats start coming fast and heavy. Fights in Tight Spaces is basically an action movie built out of strategy cards. You're a secret agent battling through cramped rooms full of enemies, and every move, step, punch, dodge, throw, comes from a card in your deck. It's turn-based, but cinematic. You line up perfect combos, shove a thug into another thug, kick someone through a window, then pivot into a counterpunch. Each run lets you shape your deck around your playstyle, maybe going full grappler, counter-heavy ninja, or slick martial artist. It's challenging, but incredibly stylish, and watching your plan come together like a choreographed fight scene is endlessly satisfying. Void Bastards is a first-person shooter roguelike with a darkly funny comic book vibe. You're a rehydrated prisoner sent to scavenge derelict spaceships in a dangerous nebula. Each ship is randomly generated, full of enemies, traps, and supplies you need to survive. You can go in guns blazing, sneak past trouble, or just grab fuel and bail when things look bad. Between runs, you craft better gear and upgrades to last longer on future raids. The visual style pops with bright, comic panel effects and dry British humor that keeps things light even when you're getting obliterated. It's perfect if you want roguelike progression, but in a shooter that doesn't take itself too seriously. Skul the Hero Slayer gives the classic action roguelike a clever twist. You're a tiny skeleton soldier on a mission to rescue the Demon King from heroic invaders. The magic is in the skull swapping system. Every skull you pick up transforms Skul into a new class with its own moves and playstyle. One moment you're a nimble rogue darting in and out. The next you're a hulking knight or a spell-slinging mage. Collecting and swapping skulls mid-run keeps combat fresh and surprising, and upgrading them creates some truly wild builds. The pixel art is sharp and full of personality, and the boss fights hit that sweet spot of challenging but fair. It's got the heart of a classic side-scroller, but the replayability of a modern roguelike. UnderMine is a dig deep and risk it all kind of roguelike with a simple but addictive loop. You play as a series of unlucky miners, each venturing into sprawling underground caverns filled with gold, traps, and monsters. You smash rocks and grab loot while fighting your way deeper, knowing that death means losing some, but not all, of your haul. Back at the surface, you invest gold in upgrades like stronger weapons, better potions, and sturdier miners, making your next run a little easier. The charm here is in the balance. Push your luck to find better treasure, but get too greedy and you might lose it all. It's approachable but still challenging, and the upgrades give a great sense of progression. There's just something special about roguelikes on the Switch. Perfect for a quick run that somehow turns into an all-night adventure. Got a favorite that keeps you coming back? I'd love to hear about it in the comments. And if you enjoy discovering games like this together, consider liking the video and subscribing so you don't miss the next one.